This Sportz Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more. Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. We're into the Auburn Blitz segment of the program. It's Luke's favorite segment right here as Andy Graham joins us each and every week. And we not only talk about the Auburn football program, but try to talk about the entire athletic department. And Andy, it's a good time for us to kind of segue into that as JMI Sports and their committee kind of had the initial look into Jay Jacobs and their thoughts about him. And I'll just kick it to you. What did the JMI Sports Committee find?
Well, I don't think it was exactly what a lot of Auburn fans were looking for, but they came out and, of course, Dr. Gooch came out in full support of Jay Jacobs. So I don't think Jacobs is going anywhere anytime soon, and that's going to upset a lot of Auburn fans. But love it or hate it, that's what Auburn is going to be right now. So we all better learn to love it. As far as the other sports, Jay Jacobs had a meeting today talking to the Auburn Chamber of Commerce, trying to really running down a lot of the things that were in the report. Everybody's, of course, excited about Gus Malzahn, and I think Jacobs is probably putting a lot of his eggs in that basket because, I think we all said that Jay Jacobs' future was going to be tied to Gene Chizik. Well, that was ultra successful, and it failed miserably. So, and now Jacobs is still standing. You would think, at least it's my opinion, that he will live and die with the success or failure of Gus Malzahn. I don't think he can survive two miserable failures of hiring coaches on his resume. As far as the basketball, he alluded to Tony Barbie. Really, basically, he said he's got one more year to put a competitive team on the floor. If that doesn't happen, then I fully expect him to be gone next year. Now, what's competitive? That's you would think that would be at least 500 in the league, but I guess it's all a matter of how the team plays and if they're in ball games and things like that. But I just can't imagine another losing record, and Tony Barbie survives.
Andy, let me say this about that. Here's the issue I have. Did Jay Jacobs say? Did he come out and say Tony Barbie's got to put a competitive team out there, or was it another representative? I'm unclear about that. Do you know?
I think he said that. I mean, I read his comments in quotes.
Well,
and he didn't say he's going to fire him. He just said that the team has to be better next year. He wasn't going to put a number on it, but they had to show improvement.
Here's the irony to me in that I think if you come out and say something like that, you're effectively handcuffing your own coach. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to recruit at all. It's already difficult for Tony Barbie to recruit to Auburn anyway, and it's going to be really hard now because every recruit out there, the first question is going to be, hey, your own athletic director basically said you're going to have to be a lot better this year. And I think we all know Auburn's got to be a lot better this year. I mean, that's the most obvious thing in college basketball next year is that he and Grant both have to be better next year. But I think that to come out and say that, you're handcuffing your own coach and you're basically sealing his own fate right now.
Well, Luke, I think, lost more SEC games last year than any team ever at Auburn. We haven't been competitive in 3 years. So I don't know if you could handcuff him any more than he's already handcuffed himself. Whether he says it or not, everybody knows that's the case. I mean, Auburn basketball has sunk to a level that's, below awful. I mean, so I don't think it really matters what Jay Jacobs, if he came out and said he's got to win X amount of games or he's fired, I really don't think that would matter at this point. And as far as recruiting, Auburn, they can't recruit any blue chip players the way it is. So what's it hurting?
I think
Andy?
Still there with us, Andy?
Yeah, I'm here. Did I lose you?
Yeah,
No,
we lost you for a second, and still glad to have Andy Graham here on the Edane Sharp Hotline, the Auburn Blitz segment of the program, brought to you each and every week by Edane Sharp, attorney at law downtown Dayville. Before we get into a pretty good little stretch right here for the Auburn baseball team, Andy, with 6 wins out of the last 7 games, what is the thought with John Pulowski? Obviously, it's going to hinder on how they close out this year.
Yeah, I think his future is certainly in doubt. They're obviously not going to discuss that while the season's still going on. But, I think, to me, the only way that he keeps his job is if Auburn, obviously makes the tournament and, were to somehow, by miracle, get hot and make a super regional. I don't think they have to go any further than that, but that would certainly save his job. Otherwise, I just don't see Pulowski's future being at Auburn, just for the simple fact that he's had 5 years and Auburn's not really improved much at all.
Well, good points right there. And overall, the Auburn Athletic Department at least putting a vote of confidence. And Luke said on the Saturday program, Al Moore was in much the same direction whenever he brought in Nick Saban. So football kind of eases a lot of pain, doesn't it, if you can bring in a coach that wins? If
you can fire up the football masses, I mean, you can get away with just about anything else.
Oh, that's absolutely true. I think that's, if Gus Malzahn is ultra successful, people will still complain about, a mediocre basketball or baseball program, but they won't care near as much. They'll be in, it'll be a very minor vocal presence because that's what, that's just the money maker. That's what people really care about. I mean, we can say and sugarcoat it, but that's the honest truth.
Andy, Damian Craig doing what he was brought to Auburn to do, and that's bring in great recruits from the Mobile area.
Absolutely. It was a huge recruiting weekend for Auburn last week with Trey Williams' commitment and the Justin Thornton commitment. Obviously, I think everybody was excited when Craig was hired, but I'm not sure any of us thought that his presence would be this impactful so soon. And he is Auburn has 7 commitments, and Craig has been the lead recruiter on 5 of them. So, and 4 of Auburn's 7 are from the Mobile area. This is obviously we all know that that's a talent-rich area. That's a high priority target for every schools out of the state, but especially for Auburn and Alabama. And truth be told, Nick Saban and Alabama have had a firm grip on that area since really his second year there. So having Damian come in and really establish a presence, him being from Pritchard, it's really kindled some excitement for Auburn fans, and rightly so, because Auburn has got to win some of those battles if they're going to be successful.
Yeah, I agree. And a little surprised Rodney Gardner hadn't got into the fray a little bit on the recruiting end, and hopefully he can close out with some. I'm not sure exactly which ones. I don't pay that close attention, Andy, but can you give any update there on who Gardner's in on?
I don't know exactly. He was in on the Justin Thornton, I believe. He was the secondary recruiter on that front, but I think I don't think Auburn, he's certainly going to bring in some recruits. Obviously, it's a long time till signing day, so I like the fact that Craig is already establishing himself, and Garner is a super recruiter, so I have no doubt he's going to bring in some 4- and 5-star guys before it's all said and done.
Auburn baseball, great weekend this past weekend. They win 2 out of 3 at Gainesville, Florida. You can't beat that. The one loss was an upsetting loss as they were up. Looked like 4-1, best I can remember, give up 4 runs there, closing out the ball game and lose 5-4 in that one. So if there is a positive here for Pulowski, it's the baseball program's playing well as we close out the season.
They have played well. They beat they won 2 of 3 from Ole Miss, who was ranked 18th in the country last weekend. They go to Gainesville, win. It's always hard to win on the road in the SEC. They take 2 of 3. They could have had, probably should have had a sweep. Michael O'Neal gives up his first home run of the year with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and Florida goes on to take that. You just think maybe he faced one too many batters, and there again, John Pulowski, maybe he should have gone and gotten him, and that's something he's going to have to answer for, something he's going to have to live with. But no doubt Auburn is playing a little better, and they are firmly going to make the SEC tournament. That probably will determine whether they make a regional or not. But they finish up with Arkansas. Arkansas is a good baseball team, but at least they're at home. If Auburn could win 2 or 3, it would certainly carry a lot of momentum going forward.
Andy, thank you so much, buddy. Look forward to hearing from you each and every week. And you know what your article's on this week?
It is on Damian Craig and his impact in Mobile.
Well, you are writing about a good subject right now to Auburn fans. You check out Andy Graham. I always try to share that on our Facebook pages. EllicCityOutlook.com is the website, and Andy Graham does a tremendous job writing, along with Luke Robinson sitting beside me. Luckily for all of you out there, Brett and I do not do writings or do articles for the paper, but Andy and Luke do a tremendous job. Thank you, Andy.
I enjoy it. Appreciate it, brother.
Okay, buddy, and that's Andy Graham, and he is brought to you by Dane Sharp each and every week, 256-825-4631 at 134 North Broadnack Street in Dadeville. And the Auburn Blitz segment, always a great segment out there, and we appreciate Dane Sharp for bringing it to you. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.